Welcome to Go Team Score Points, a podcast for those who want to distract themselves from the news for 30 to 45 minutes and learn about the NBA instead. Each episode focuses on one NBA game from that week. An NBA beginner Irish, that's me, and longtime NBA fan Sam.
That's me.
Learn more about the NBA games, people, and current events. In today's show, we check in with Alice about some preseason WNBA games and then talk about the Nuggets-Clippers Game 7 in the playoffs. Go Nuggets. It's our best episode yet.
For sure. We're rolling.
I haven't heard from anyone, including, so we made a YouTube short of us questioning what is the Slim Slam.
Yeah.
Which is when Jaden McDaniels dunks. The announcers for the Timberwolves call it the Slim Slam. That short had like 1,400 views and 0 comments.
Not a single comment.
I really want to know. So
Right.
Anyway, so nothing personally new, but we do have current events.
The most wild week in the NBA.
As of recording, the Nuggets just won again in the last minute thanks to Aaron Gordon.
Yeah.
Again. That was amazing because I was watching it. I was just refreshing the score.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was at work.
Right.
The Thunder were up by 10, like every time I checked. And the last time I checked, it was like halfway through quarter 4.
Yeah.
And I just was like, oh, okay. But we knew this would happen because it's like they're tired. They just played game 7. And what's crazy is like they came back from losing in the last 2 minutes.
I know.
That was wild.
It was pretty wild. After I knew that the Nuggets had won, I watched the last 5 minutes. It was like what you like to do.
Yeah.
And it stayed far apart for longer than I thought it would. It was still like inside of 2 minutes. It was like a couple possessions, but
Yeah.
Jokic is he's so good.
Right. So he's so good, but the team, they play so well as a team.
Yeah.
Like they're all so good. Like at the very end, when Aaron Gordon made that 3, it like started at the other basket with like Christian Brown, I think, to Russell Westbrook, to Aaron Gordon, and then he shot it and won. And I watched an interview with Aaron Gordon after. The sideline reporter said, you were down by 1 and you went for a 3-pointer. Like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
And he said essentially that he trusted Russell Westbrook and that he looked at the paint and it was too busy. And so he just went for it. I just thought it was really interesting the way he was like
Process that.
And the way he said like that he trusted Westbrook to like know what to do. I just felt like they were really cohesive as a team.
Yeah, everyone did their job right
Yeah.
in that last second. I mean, I don't know how many 40-point, 20 rebound games there have been in playoff history. It's like he's playing a different sport. But you're right that everyone on the Nuggets did their job, including Russell Westbrook, who's been not the most consistently reliable.
He's having a comeback, I think.
He got a couple of rebounds that I was like, wow, he just wanted the ball more than other people. We're
going to talk about him later. We're going to talk about that other game in a minute. But the game today, which is more recent than the one we're going to talk about.
Well, so there's been like parallels in all of these games. Not all of them. The Celtics lost today.
Oh yeah, I heard. My condolences.
After being ahead by 20.
That's so painful.
Pretty rough. They take so many 3-pointers, right? The Celtics, and they just went ice cold. They ended up shooting, I think, they set a playoff record. They missed 45 3-pointers.
Whoa.
In this game, right? It's hard to picture. Just so ridiculous. So, and then I think they made a few early and then just went ice cold. Porzingis was sick again, which is, I don't know.
He's always sick. Right?
Well, he's always hurt, but he missed a lot of time this year because of an illness, like a viral something or other. No idea.
Scary.
No idea if it's the same thing or not. This could be a whole other thing.
That must be so frustrating.
Yeah, he played a little bit at the beginning, but I don't think he was super effective. But no excuse. They shouldn't have lost that game. Or I don't know. Maybe the Knicks did great. I'm not sure. But being ahead by 20 and then coughing up a lead like that, at some point, probably got to stop shooting 3-pointers and go to the basket. I don't know. And the Cavs also lost.
Who were they playing?
The Pacers.
Oh.
So both 1 seeds are.
Did they fight?
No, not yet. Both 1 seeds are behind the Thunder and the Cavs, and the Celtics lost. And then the other matchup that hasn't started yet is the Timberwolves and the Warriors. So the Warriors won that game 7 against the Rockets, which is a 6 seed versus a 7 seed. So the West is on its head a little bit.
It's exciting.
Pretty exciting.
And I'm excited because I saw someone on TikTok talking about how no one hates Rudy Gobert more than Draymond Green. And there's a matchup.
Yeah.
And that that's going to be, I don't know what adjective goes with that.
Fireworks. It'll be. Jimmy Butler's not healthy as of yet. There's a piece of me that wonders if the Warriors are basically just going to forfeit game 1. Because that game they played against the Rockets.
So they can rest a little bit?
Yeah, I think that the final score maybe wasn't super close in that game against the Rockets, but it was it was a intense game. I think Steph Curry had no points until there were less than a minute left in the second quarter. They were defending him so tightly and roughly, and this guy Buddy Hield went crazy. He scored like 33 points and had 8 3-pointers or something like that. I think the Rockets were just like, it's not going to be Steph. He's not going to beat us tonight. Yeah. And so I think those are the only series happening right now. Warriors and Timberwolves, I think, probably starts tomorrow.
I'm excited for that game.
Yeah, that'll be pretty fun.
Good news. Alice is here to talk about the WNBA.
Alice, thanks for joining us to talk about the WNBA.
Excited. Also, so many things have happened.
So I watched my first preseason game.
Okay.
The Dallas Wings versus the Las Vegas Aces. Tell us why they played at Notre Dame.
So the trend this year, at least, which is really great, is for the preseason games to be at a location where some of the players graduated from. So the Las Vegas Aces have Jewel Lloyd, who just got on the team this year, Jackie Young, and then on the Dallas Wings, we have Arike Ogunbowale. So these 3 guards are some of the top guards in the WNBA. Starters, okay? Starter guards. And these 3 all went to Notre Dame. And in fact, there are some of them, like Arike and Jackie Young, won championship together at Notre Dame. If you go back to YouTube and watch Arike's, there's 2 tournament games in a row where she won the game on a 3 in the last 5 seconds. Like she just had hit 2 game winners in 2 different games in the same tournament. And so then Notre Dame was able to win the championship. And so they kind of want to go back. So for example, the Fever second preseason game against the Brazil national team was at Iowa. And that's where Caitlin went to school. And so all the fans will come out. And so they kind of want to do this thing where to honor the players, honor their fans. And I think it actually grows the game. And the fans are so happy to see these alumni coming back, right?
That's really smart. I like that.
Are you going to talk more about the game itself?
Okay, I barely watched this game, so I don't have a lot to say, except Chelsea Gray is the point god, right?
Yes.
Here's what I thought was notable. The announcers were talking about how they talked to Chelsea Gray, and they were so glad she's back from an injury. Mm-hmm. And that they talked about this at least 3 times, how the coach said she brings so much joy to the game. And I'm wondering, are women more joyful? Or I just was thinking, would you ever describe Anthony Edwards as joyful, or any of these NBA players? Is this sexist language, or maybe women just have more fun at things? I don't know.
That's really interesting. And I think I want to describe Chelsea Gray's game to you a little bit to kind of see when you watch her play in any game, it doesn't need to be a playoff game. It can just be a regular game. She's the point guard because she just sees passes and she sees players where you don't even expect them to be there. You don't expect these things to happen. So she does amazing things. And when she does it, you're kind of laugh wow, I can't believe that happened. I can't believe she saw that. I can't believe she did that. And she does that so often that that's the joyful part. We're watching it, we're amazing, right? Yeah. And so that makes, I think, the viewers really happy. And that's why she's called the point god. Caitlin Clark is getting there. I think Caitlin Clark they do different things. I think Chelsea's game is a little more just a surprise. Wow, I cannot believe that happened. Caitlin Clark just gets points for her teammates. She just has so many, she's just her team, she could just pass her teammates score. And it's a different type of seeing the court, right? Are there NBA players that are they're consistently so good, doing such good plays that you're that makes me happy? Are there players like that?
Yeah, for sure. When LeBron James finally won his first title, his comment right after was I play this game with a lot of love, was how he described it. And it reminded me a little bit about where you were just saying, I don't think it is the same standard. Saying that about a woman is different than saying that about a man. You know what I mean? Saying that they play with a lot of, because it's a woman, there's a sexist implication about that. It's not as serious, or it's not as, even if you did describe a man playing with joy, it doesn't mean the same thing as saying a woman, I don't think, plays with joy.
This is the other thing. I watched the Connecticut Suns Seattle Storm game, and one of the announcers referred to the rookies on the team as youngsters, several times. And that to me sounds kind of, I don't know, dismissive or infantilizing, and it seemed a little sexist.
I know that you like to look at the announcers and have a discussion about the announcers. So there are some top tier ones like Rebecca Lobo, Ryan Bruco, Carolyn Peck. Yeah. There is a Seattle announcer, a male announcer that people either love or they hate. And a lot of people dislike him. He's incredibly biased towards the Seattle team. So much so, when I was watching that game that you were watching, I was watching it today. Yeah. It was Connecticut and Seattle, right? First of all, Connecticut has an all-new team. All 5 starters left their team last year. And so I was just curious. When I watch these preseason games, I'm curious about who are these new players on the team? What are their names? There were Connecticut players that made shots and the announcers didn't even say their name. And they just kept talking about Seattle, right. So-and-so has grown so much. And I was Connecticut is doing something. I watched half the game into the third quarter. I just watched the middle part, second and third quarter, and I don't feel like I learned anything about Connecticut.
Wow.
I had to look on the court and I was like, oh, that's JC Sheldon, or oh, I had to use my eyes to be like, do I recognize that player? Because they didn't even mention anybody in Connecticut. And so I think you'll like as you start to watch, you'll start to probably have opinions about certain announcers that
Okay.
like do a good job and certain announcers that don't do a good job.
Okay. Well, I'll say something. Back to the joyful part, though. The women, the players in the WNBA do look like they are having a lot of fun when they're playing. It just looks different. Like the basketball part looks the same. Like the speed of the game, they're not quite as physical, like shoving into people, but there's not a huge difference. Like it seems like just as fast paced and high scoring as the NBA, but the women do look like they're having more fun.
The most fun game I watched, I felt like they were having fun. I don't think you watched it. Was Indiana Fever against the Brazil national team. It was Caitlin Clark's first. So she didn't play the first preseason game for Indiana. She played the second game in Iowa and is against Brazil. Like she's known for the logo threes. She made like a 36-footer. It was like she came past half court and then shot the thing and went in. Like it was crazy. People were having so much fun. Indiana scored so many 3-pointers and so many cool plays. There was like a behind the back. So I think if you had to go back and watch any of the 4 preseason games, the Indiana one, then you can really see like, oh, Indiana is going to be a lot of fun to watch. And
Okay, good.
They're so fast paced. Yeah. Along with that, there are players getting cut already. There are players getting cut that have not even played a preseason game. And so that from the Golden State Valkyries, which is a new team. And so people have feelings about that. Like some people are very confused about it, not sure why. But okay, so that's one thing that has happened that has big
Wait,
news.
do you mean that the players are confused about it? The players who have been cut are confused about it? Or
It sounds like the player's family is confused about it.
Yeah, I
Who
bet.
knows? Like the whole everybody. And in addition, like the coach made a comment being like, I have to, the so and so did everything I told them to do. They were great, but I need to make cuts, and I'm not looking for the most talented 12. I'm looking for the best fit 12. And like that's just like, okay, so you're telling me that the most talented and is not necessarily the best fit, which okay. It's unclear, but
Yeah.
like letting players go early is good because then other training camps can pick them up. So,
Right.
and this person already got picked up by Atlanta. So I was like, okay, great. So that happened. And the second big thing is these ACL injuries. The 6th pick in the draft got an ACL tear. She's out. Just got picked last week in training camp, tore her ACL. She's out. In Seattle, there's a vet that tore her ACL in training camp. She's out. Seattle has 3 people out with ACL injuries. And so like that is becoming so common.
Yeah, that's too bad. That's too bad.
Yeah.
Has Paige played her first game yet?
Yeah, she's on Dallas. She played against the Aces. The Aces if you watch the Aces look good because they won the championship 2 years in a row, like a couple years, like the year before last. They are good. They have Asia Wilson, who was the MVP last year. So the Aces are stacked. I mean, all the teams, I feel like they're stacked this year. We never really know until the season starts. I want to say the Minnesota Lynx have like one of the best coaches in the league. Best. She won like 4 championships in a row or something. So they have one of the best coaches. But people don't talk about them. People talk about Caitlin and Indiana and Asia Wilson and the Aces, but people don't talk about Minnesota, and they're just the sleeper. But they were in the finals last year.
Yeah. Well, I will follow the links then.
So you were talking about the youngsters. So we've definitely been seeing some good rookies show up. Like Las Vegas has a 13th pick, 13th second round pick that scored like almost 20 points. So it's nice to be able to see the rookies play, actually, to see what they're like at this level against women who've been in the league and are really strong.
Okay, I have a couple things to say. One, I looked up, so often I will look up a player just to see like what I can learn about them. And the information on these women is much less than the NBA players. Like there's not a lot out there on who they are, who they're dating, like just who their family is, if their parents played college sports. Anyway, so I looked up this player that I thought was fascinating. I'm going to get the tones wrong, but it's Li Yu-re.
Center from China. She was on the LA Sparks last year.
She's 6'7".
Yes. She's
and
tall.
There's not a lot on her on Wikipedia. And then I looked her up on TikTok. She has a TikTok. She's posted like 5 videos and it's her dancing. She's very cute. And I just wonder how hard things are for her. So she played in China, but then she got recruited and has been playing in America for a while. There was one interview I saw with her and one of her teammates, and the reporter asked her about her team or something, and there was no interpreter. The reporter asked her something about like being on the team, and she said, like, my teammates are really nice and they really help me and the coaches really help me. But I wonder how isolating this might be for her, or how hard it might be not being fluent in the language, living in another country. But also, LA has probably a large Chinese speaking population.
It does. And I think she landed at another West Coast team in Seattle. And so I lived in Seattle for a while too. And Seattle also has a Chinese population. I think she's pretty young. Like last year was kind of like a diamond in the rough. She was showing up in the preseason games within LA, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about her. Like, she looks like she's all over the place. And then she got better as the season went on. And at the end of the season, she made it clear that she was not trying to stay in LA, that she was not happy in LA, either the coach or something, whatever, or the location, I don't know. And so they traded her to Seattle there was like a big 3-team trade. They traded her to Seattle. But overall, I was listening to the broadcast and they said she has a 91% free throw. Yeah, right? Oh. Amazing. At 6'7". I just think about when I was growing up listening to like Shaq's free throw percentage. And right in that moment where they were talking about it, she just swishes 2 free throws. And I was like, that's amazing. Like she's rough. She's like pretty big. She's like strong. Yeah. She's big and strong. She'll just like, you'll see her like move another center off with one arm and get the rebound with her other arm. And I was like, whoa, I think Seattle will keep her. I hope Seattle keeps her. But I think she's just really young. And so it's good that she can like slowly develop, and she'll be like a backup center, for example.
That free throw percentage is something.
It's really high. It's higher than some guards' free throw percentages.
Oh. Okay, I was also thinking about, and we don't have to go into this, but like the announcers were talking about someone, I don't even know what team, who missed like 2 seasons when she had her kids. And I was like blown away. This is a big difference in the NBA and the WNBA. Like, I've had kids, and what it does to your body is shocking and it takes forever to come back from that. Maybe it's because I had twins, but like everything about it. And I just think about how hard it would be to have this job that is so highly competitive based on your physicality, based on your body. And then you also are like, have to make this decision like that you want kids. And so you have to take this huge risk of like, what if I don't get back to where I was? I think that is like so intense.
And they're so amazing. I think I know who the announcer was talking about. So since you like Seattle, we'll just keep talking about Seattle. The Seattle point guard, Skylar Diggins. So prior to the season, she was called Skylar Diggins Smith. She filed for divorce just recently. Now she's called Skylar Diggins. Is like one of the most competitive WNBA players there. Like she just wants to she works so hard. She'll put it out there. She wants to win. And like, there are some players that kind of like are like, they're players, they're good, but you wouldn't say that they are just like so fiery and like, that's her. And she's amazing. She's so fit. She just runs the court like crazy. If you want to talk about another parent that had her baby and then some months later started playing again, Dearica Hamby on the LA Sparks and she's just a beast. She's so good. I think she's the best player on the Sparks. And she like carried that team last year, and she just had her kid, right? Like, I just think that's really amazing. And also there are these amazing things happening, and then there are some dramatic things that are happening too on the side. If you want to hear about the drama part of this, it's out there, right? So Dearica Hamby used to be on the Las Vegas Aces. The Las Vegas Aces has a coach, Becky Hammond, who used to also play in the WNBA. And the drama here is that Dearica Hamby is suing the Aces because they're saying they traded her or they got rid of her once they found out she was pregnant. Wow. Because then they knew she couldn't play. So there's a lawsuit going on related to this. And so something that the Aces did this year was they signed another player in the offseason. And then, 2 or 3 months later, it was announced that this player is going to sit out the season, still on the Aces payroll, but she's going to sit out the season because she's pregnant. And so I think the Aces know what they did to Dearica Hamby was not a good look, especially in this league where people are mothers, right? So, and so like, when this thing happened, I was like, there's definitely some PR stuff going on here, right? I bet they signed this player knowing that she was like, for sure they knew she was pregnant. Now this news has come out. Because again, this lawsuit is still ongoing. And so interesting that you made this observation, and also lots of things going on in the W.
Good. Okay. Hey, well, I'm pumped up. Ready.
Okay, I'll let you know. I'll just text you. I'll let you know which are the games to watch out for.
Okay.
And what to watch.
Okay. I think that's all for our segment.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Alice.
Bye. Okay. I watched a game. Do you want me to tell you about the game?
I want you to tell me about the game.
Okay. So watching it live, we only had the option to watch it on the TNT stream.
Okay.
The Nuggets Clippers game 7. Okay. This game was For the first time, I thought it went really fast.
Yeah.
The first quarter was 30 minutes. So I feel like it actually was faster.
Yeah, maybe.
But I don't know why. Because we saw the dancers and we saw Rocky climbing up.
I know, forever.
Like, so we saw.
I was
all
pretty
this
impressed
stuff.
by that. I watched up.
With that huge costume.
Yeah, I know. There must
Yeah.
be an air conditioner in there or something.
I know. But like, first of all, to climb up, like just
I
to
know.
pull yourself up. I'm like, this guy is so strong.
I know.
And then how can he see out of that? It just makes sense that he makes $1 million a year.
Yeah, it seems sweaty in there.
I'm sure.
Climbing up that. Anyway, good for him.
It's at the Ball Arena in Denver. The t-shirt guy is drunk with power. You can just see him like, who wants it?
Yeah, yeah. What are you going to do for me?
Like, good for him, you know? Okay, quarter one. Everyone is standing until the Nuggets score, which took a while. So I thought it was just they sit after the first basket.
Oh, no.
No, it's
Yeah.
after the
Home
their
team.
team,
Yeah.
yes, scores. And it did take a while. Like the Nuggets were not like all firing at this. It just,
Yeah, the beginning.
it was like, oh, this is going to be rough.
Yeah.
Which I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Jokic and Christian Brown did an alley-oop. Very fun.
Mm.
I wrote that the Nuggets didn't play very well in quarter one. Jokic was 0 for 5. Defense was okay. Offense was not okay.
But it was close, right? The Clippers, I think, were ahead, but not by much.
right.
Which I was thinking that while it was happening, I was like, that can't be good for the Clippers if Jokic is 0 for
Right.
5 and this is a close game. Like, because that's
Right?
that's not
Oh.
going to continue.
Oh,
You know what I
I
mean?
was not
Like,
thinking that. I was thinking like, this is bad.
he's too good.
So then in quarter two, Jokic was resting, which is good. And then Russell Westbrook showed up.
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook did this amazing play where he like intercepts the ball and then passes it to Gordon, who dunks it. And then the Nuggets were winning. And it was so exciting to see.
Yeah.
Like he really showed up for this game. So then mid quarter two, Jokic is back. And then Murray runs all the way and scores. They didn't say anything about like coast to coast.
Yeah.
Then the Nuggets were up by 12. And so this is in quarter two. And I think
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I found out the equation because I was thinking like, this is fun. For the first time since starting this, I was having fun watching a game. And I think it is team I like and know plus consequential game equals fun.
But the fact that you've stuck with this.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, it's really, it's been an experiment. But
Everything but watching the games is fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the reason I did this is still working.
Right.
Like I did
Right.
it because I just need something to think about that isn't,
The end of days.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that part's working.
Yeah.
So yay.
Oh, yeah. Right. And we were saying that it might actually be true that this is the first time, depending on your definition of game of consequence, in 6 or 8 months, this is the first time that that's happened.
Well, yeah, because if they lost this, that was it for the
Right.
season.
Which that's a problem. That's not great for the NBA. Because I bet you're not alone in that. I mean, the games just don't matter that much. Even if you care, even if you really care about the team, the games don't matter that much.
So then it's halftime. Then quarter three happens. It was really fun because the Nuggets were up by 18 and then they went on a run.
Big run. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they were up by 25. And then the announcers, this was the TNT announcers, they were like, nothing at all is going the Clippers' way.
Yeah. I don't know if you wrote about it, but what did you observe from the Clippers?
The Clippers looked like they were tired.
Yeah.
They looked like they weren't having fun.
Yeah.
They looked like they didn't want to be there. And I was like, is the altitude affecting them?
Yeah. I don't, I mean, it was weird. It was
weird.
It was really strange. Just the lack of, I don't feel like often, it's kind of what we were talking about in terms of like playoff experiences and stuff. I have a really hard time buying things that aren't like measurable in basketball, but it just looked like they were not trying.
Yeah.
Which like, what? It's a game, like, what are you doing? It's a game
Right.
7. It was very strange.
And so I texted Hannah during this game.
Yeah.
Hannah says, we've blown bigger leads than this. Remember, pace yourself. And I don't remember because I've never watched a season of basketball before.
Right.
But apparently this happened last year when they played the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
And the Timberwolves had a huge comeback, which I bet was so exciting for Timberwolves fans.
Yeah.
And really like upsetting for Nuggets fans.
Yeah. The scorned fan is like a real phenomenon of sports.
Okay, in this game, in quarter three, when there was 4:42 left in the third quarter, Donovan fouls Jokic. And I said to August, I was like, why was that a foul? And August whispered, Jokic flopped.
Even the best.
I know.
Yeah.
So towards the end of the game, DeAndre Jordan played
Wow.
and he dunked.
A vegan sighting.
I know.
Still got it.
I said he dunks and it's a win for the vegans.
Yeah.
Okay, at the end of quarter three, they were up 93-66. That's so fun.
Yeah.
Then in quarter four, Michael Porter Jr. dunks. Then the Nuggets were up by 29 points. Jokic took a rest.
Yeah.
They were like, look, We don't need you. I wanted to tell you. So it's pretty fun. They showed the dancers. In the center of the dancers, there was a full-on baton twirler, like 1950s.
Yeah.
Twirling around her, everything.
Roller skate?
No roller skates, just classic baton twirling. And I was thinking, like, first of all, this person is in her 20s. What parent or school program was like, we're going to introduce baton twirling? What year is, like, I thought that died out in 1965.
Yeah. Yeah. It was old when I was young.
Right. So how did she get introduced to that?
Yeah.
And then continue on and become so proficient that then she becomes a Nuggets dancer. And then how does she, like, at her audition be like, hang on.
Yeah. Right.
I've got something to add.
A line on her resume?
Yeah.
Baton. Maybe.
Do you think during her audition she set them on fire?
The people? The batons. Yeah, that's more likely. Yeah. Maybe. She thinks she's on the team when she's not using a baton.
Hard to say. I tried to figure out who she was and, like, looked up all their pictures. You can see the roster of dancers. First of all, there is one woman of color on the whole team.
Right.
Show some diversity. Anyway, so I didn't see her. My point is they all look the same.
Right.
Long hair, white. I don't know which one she was.
Was she really good?
At twirling a baton?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I guess I haven't seen many baton twirlers.
Well,
so she didn't.
Maybe that's part of the appeal. Yeah, exactly. Part of the appeal. Where you're like, whoa, she threw that one high.
Wow.
Yeah.
The Clippers tried to come back. They went on an 8-0 run.
Yeah.
But the Nuggets were still up by like 30 points.
Right.
So
You got to talk about Russell, right?
Yes. Okay. So Russell Westbrook dunks it.
Yeah.
And then, like, somebody else scores, and then, like, the next play, he does it again, and it is spectacular.
Yeah.
Like, it's just him. He runs all the way down, and he dunks it, and he milks it.
Swings around.
It's great. He's swinging, and he did get a foul, and he didn't care.
He made the T motion at the same time as the referee, and he was, like, hyping up the crowd. I think he said, like, send these home or whatever. Yeah. It was awesome.
It was so great.
Yeah, really exciting.
That was very fun to watch.
He played for the Clippers, like, recently. So, and, like, got sent away. So there was a big vindication.
Good for him.
Yeah, right?
I felt really good.
Yeah.
Then I wrote something down here that makes me feel sporty. Gordon splits the defenders and was able to score.
Yeah.
I can't believe it happens.
Yeah.
He's just like these people are all over him, and he's just able to, like, move them aside.
No.
And it was amazing.
And again, all of them are the best athlete you've ever seen.
Right.
I wonder what, like, just what it's like to be, or what, like, even NBA players are like, God, that guy's a really good athlete.
Yes.
You know, strong, fast.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And at this point in the game, Gordon and Murray go rest. The crowd is, like, just so excited. Also, I saw a gold bug.
Beard still?
Yeah.
Good.
And at this point, it's 81-111. And the announcer said, he was like, it's a lopsided game when you have to start doing math in your head.
I love that. I heard the same thing. Yeah. And then we're like, I was just waiting for you to figure it out. Yeah, it was so good. Yeah.
Because it's true. I'm like, is that 30 points? Wow. I think what's impressive is 6 players had over 16 points on the Nuggets team. So this is the end of the game. Jokic gets back in. He immediately scores. And then the Clippers were trying. They had a 15-2 run. But in the end, the Nuggets won 113-96. And it was really just so fun to watch. So the announcers, I didn't write down much. I watched the TNT announcers, and they were pretty, like, I don't know if they were objective or maybe they were biased, and I was, like, towards the Nuggets. And so I was like, oh, this sounds objective, because I agreed with that.
Yeah.
But they did say the Clippers looked tired. Yeah. They said Brown from downtown, and I wanted to be a little more specific. They could say Brown from City Park.
No rhyme, though.
Well, true.
Yeah, okay. True.
But it's specific to Denver.
Oh, yeah.
Or Brown from the cliff at Casa Bonita.
Nice.
And okay, so that was that game.
Yeah.
Very fun. Now I have a short game for you.
More Denver stuff, more Denver to come, which is exciting.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a game. It's called Would You Rather.
All right, let's do it.
I only have 4.
Great.
And one of them I made while we were talking to Alice. So.
Okay. I saw you typing a little.
Not quite finished. I gotta think.
I'll come up with some after you come up with some.
Oh, really? Off the top of your head?
We'll see. Let's see what happens.
Okay, would you rather sit courtside amongst Celtics fans at game 2, like tomorrow or whatever, but have to wear a shirt that says Knicks rule? Have to work as a ref during game 2.
Oh my God, the shirt 1,000 times over. Right. I could not be a ref.
Right?
So thankless. What would you do on that one?
I was thinking about what you might say, and Jalen Brunson, I've learned,
is
notorious for, like, foul baiting and flopping. So if you were the ref, you could be like, I'm on to you.
Oh.
I'm on to you.
Yeah.
And you're a Celtics fan? So you could be like...
I'm not calling it. I don't care what they do.
Right.
Yeah. I guess I could.
So that's something to think about.
The pressure of being a ref, my God.
Oh, yeah. And people screaming at you, looking up at people screaming.
Huge men really mad at you. Yeah. No thanks.
Okay. Would you rather get to sit courtside during game 2, but you have to pee every 25 minutes and therefore walk in front of everyone saying, "Excuse me," while they shout things at you like, "Sit down, you make a better door than a window," or sit in the nosebleed seats during game 2, but miraculously you don't have to pee for the entire game.
Oh, every 25 minutes, no choice. Maybe nosebleeds?
No way.
Maybe. I wouldn't like that at all. I wouldn't like that at all.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Would you rather sell t-shirts outside of the garden, which is very difficult work and people are rude and it is cold in the winter and you don't have health insurance and you barely cover your bills, but over time you get to know Jaylen Brown a little bit. He chats with you every time you see him, and after a few years you guys even high five when you see each other? Or have your nice, comfortable job, but no chit chats with Jaylen Brown?
So my life now, or the life you described? I have my life now. Yeah, I think. He would have to give just the best high fives. Maybe Sam Hauser, who got hurt today. Anyway.
Aw.
Yeah, high fiving too hard.
Would you rather go to a preseason game or watch part 1 of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion?
Oh, man. If it was like the worst preseason, I think probably the show.
You'd rather watch the show? Yes, because you could be at your house.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. If I had to like really pay attention and
Well, the drama is...
probably get sucked in.
I know.
Ugh. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but the preseasons are just so rough. It's pretty awful.
Well, now we know.
Would you rather twirl a baton at halftime of game 2 for the Nuggets or do like a roller skating dance routine?
These are great questions.
Yeah.
Are we considering my actual real abilities in both right now?
Yep.
Are the batons on fire?
Your choice.
Okay, so listen, there will be booing either way. Because when I roller skate, it's like this move.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like hanging on to things.
Right.
The baton. I see the potential for humiliation to be greater
Right.
with the roller skates because there's the falling on the floor and not being able to get up
Yeah.
because you're wearing roller skates.
You're less likely to go viral with the baton.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Good answer.
That was a really good question.
Thanks. Thank you.
Still have MVP.
Oh, MVPs. Right. I forgot.
I have several MVPs.
Go. Yeah.
One is kind of a question mark, but I wonder if David Adelman
Great choice.
might be an MVP. The baton twirler is another one.
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
And like Aaron Gordon.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I think all the Nuggets. I think overall MVP goes to the Nuggets because
Yeah.
they had a big transition very recently. Like they lost.
Yeah.
They had a coaching change so recently, and they still are like performing really well.
Adversity
So-
focus. I totally agree.
MVP is all of those people.
I'm going to go Jokic, and I think he's going to be the MVP this year. He was like, since we had that conversation, he's gone to another level. And today was wild. So I'll go Jokic.
Okay. LVP.
It's got to be the Clippers.
The Clippers.
It's got to be
The Clippers.
just total no-show. Poor
Yeah.
guys.
I think the confusing part is probably the Clippers' performance.
Yeah.
In Game 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And questions that we had, like what were the Clippers doing
Yeah.
in Game 7?
Yeah.
So everything but MVP goes to the Clippers.
Yeah. Okay. And what we learned?
Here's what we learned is what it takes for you to be interested in the game.
Yes, the equation.
That's a big one.
Okay.
That's a big one. That's important. So we'll see you next year at Game 7 for the Nuggets series.
Seriously. No, we've got these playoffs. I'm also interested in the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of those players. So
All right, good job. I think we did it.
good job.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Go Team Score Points. Today's episode was edited by Irish. Information from this episode only came from Wikipedia. You can reach us at goteamscorepoints@gmail.com. Next week, we'll be watching as many playoff games as we can. See you then.